You know, there comes a moment in every person's life when things simply don't make sense anymore. You wake up one morning and the life you planned, the future you envisioned, the dreams you held so carefully in your heart, they all seem to be crumbling right before your eyes. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can resist what's happening, you can fight against the current of your life, or you can do something that might feel almost impossible. You can trust, you can surrender. You can let go and allow something greater than your limited understanding to guide you forward. Now, I want to talk to you today about something that changed my entire existence. It's about learning to trust in a divine intelligence, a higher power, a source energy, God, whatever name resonates with your soul. It's about learning to trust even when nothing makes sense. Even when your logical mind is screaming at you that things are going wrong. Even when everyone around you is telling you to worry, to panic, to take control. Because here's what I've learned through decades of studying spiritual principles and observing my own life and the lives of thousands of people I've worked with. When you truly learn to trust in this divine plan, when you really let go of your need to understand everything, when you stop trying to control every outcome, your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Think about this for a moment. You are here, right now, in this exact moment. You made it through every single challenge that came before this. Every heartbreak you thought would destroy you, you survived. Every financial crisis you believed would ruin you, you got through. Every loss that felt unbearable, you bore. Every confusion that seemed endless, you found your way through. So why do we still doubt? Why do we still think that this time, this particular challenge, this specific problem is the one that will finally break us? The reason is simple. We trust in our own limited perspective more than we trust in the infinite wisdom of the universe. We think we know better than God. We think we can see the whole picture when in reality, we're looking through the tiniest keyhole at a vast landscape we cannot even begin to comprehend. It's like an ant trying to understand the architecture of a cathedral. It's like a child trying to grasp quantum physics. Our human minds, as magnificent as they are, simply cannot comprehend the intricate web of connections, the perfect timing, the divine orchestration that's happening in every single moment. I remember a time in my own life when I lost everything I thought defined me. My marriage fell apart. My career seemed to be going nowhere. I was struggling financially. I looked around at my life and thought, how did I get here? This wasn't the plan. This wasn't what I worked for. This wasn't what I prayed for. I felt lost, confused, and utterly alone. And in that darkness, I had a realization that would change everything. I realized that I had been trying to control my life based on what I thought should happen, based on what society told me should happen, based on what I believed would make me happy. But none of that was working. None of it was bringing me peace. So I made a decision. I decided to trust, not blindly, but consciously. I decided to trust that even though I couldn't see the path ahead, even though I didn't understand why things were happening the way they were, there was a reason, there was a purpose, there was a plan far greater than anything my limited mind could conceive. And you know what happened? Everything started to shift, not all at once, not in the way I expected. But slowly, surely, beautifully, my life began to reorganize itself in ways that were far better than anything I had planned for myself. Now, let me be clear about something. Trusting in God's plan doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you sit around waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. It doesn't mean you stop taking action or making decisions. What it means is that you align your actions with a higher purpose. You listen to that inner guidance, that quiet voice within you that knows the way. You take inspired action rather than desperate action. You move forward with faith rather than fear. There's a big difference between doing something because you're terrified of what will happen if you don't, and doing something because you feel called to do it, because it feels right in your soul, because it aligns with your highest self. When you're operating from fear, you're in resistance mode. You're fighting against the flow of life. But when you're operating from trust, from faith, from alignment with divine will, you're moving with the current, and life becomes so much easier. Doors open that you never knew existed. People show up exactly when you need them. Resources appear right when you need them. Opportunities present themselves in the most unexpected ways. But here's the thing that most people struggle with. Trusting God's plan requires you to give up your attachment to specific outcomes. It requires you to release your grip on how you think things should unfold. And that's terrifying for most people because we've been taught that we need to have it all figured out. We need to have a plan. We need to know where we're going. We need to control our destiny. But that's not trust. That's ego. That's your small self trying to navigate a universe that's infinitely complex and interconnected. Real trust means saying, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I trust that it will. I don't know why this is happening, but I trust there's a reason. I can't see the end result, but I trust the process. This is where transformation happens. This is where miracles occur. This is where you step out of your own way and allow the divine to work through you and for you. Let me tell you something about the nature of problems and challenges. Every single difficulty you face is an opportunity for growth. Every obstacle is an invitation to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate. But we don't see it that way when we're in the middle of it, do we? When we're going through hard times, we think something has gone wrong. We think we're being punished. We think we've failed. We think God has abandoned us. But nothing could be further from the truth. What if I told you that the hardest times in your life were actually the times when you were being prepared for something greater? What if those moments of confusion and pain were actually the universe clearing out old patterns, old beliefs, old ways of being that no longer served you? What if losing what you thought you wanted was actually making space for something you couldn't even conceive of wanting because you didn't know it existed? I've seen this pattern over and over again in my own life and in the lives of countless others. The job you lost led to the career you love. The relationship that ended made space for the partnership of your dreams. The illness that scared you taught you to take care of yourself in ways you never did before. The financial crisis that terrified you taught you about true abundance and what really matters. The betrayal that broke your heart taught you about forgiveness and opened you up to deeper connections. But you can only see this pattern when you look back. In the moment when you're going through it, it feels like everything is falling apart. It feels like chaos. It feels like suffering. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel all of those feelings. You're allowed to be scared, to be angry, to be confused. Trusting God doesn't mean you bypass your emotions. It means you feel them fully and then you choose to have faith anyway. You choose to believe that even in this pain, even in this confusion, even in this darkness, there is a divine hand guiding you toward your highest good. Now, some people hear this and they get angry. They say, what about all the terrible things that happen in the world? What about injustice? What about suffering? How can you tell me to trust when there's so much pain? And I understand that resistance. I really do. But here's what I've come to understand. We live in a world of duality. We live in a world where contrast exists so that we can grow, so that we can choose, so that we can evolve. And yes, terrible things happen. People make choices that hurt others. Systems exist that create suffering. But even in the midst of all of that, you have a choice about how you respond. You have a choice about whether you become bitter or better. You have a choice about whether you close your heart or open it wider. Trusting God doesn't mean believing that bad things won't happen. It means believing that even when bad things happen, you have the strength, the wisdom, and the support to get through it. It means believing that you're never alone, even when you feel most isolated. It means believing that there is meaning to be found, lessons to be learned, and purpose to be fulfilled even in the darkest valleys. And here's something that might surprise you. When you truly trust, when you truly surrender to divine will, you actually become more powerful, not less. You become more effective in the world, not passive, because you're no longer wasting energy on resistance. You're no longer exhausting yourself trying to control things that are beyond your control. You're no longer spinning your wheels in anxiety and fear. Instead, you're channeling all of that energy into aligned action. You're listening to guidance. You're following your intuition. You're showing up fully in each moment, doing what's yours to do, and trusting the universe to handle the rest. This is what it means to be in the world but not of it. This is what it means to be a spiritual being having a human experience. You're here to participate in life fully, to engage with challenges, to create, to love, to serve. But you're doing it from a place of connection to something greater than yourself. You're doing it knowing that you are supported, guided, and loved beyond measure. Let me share something with you about the nature of divine timing. Have you noticed that things never seem to happen when you want them to? You pray for something, you work towards something, you hope for something, and it doesn't come. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, years go by, and you start to think, maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe God doesn't hear me. But then, when you least expect it, when you've almost given up, when you've surrendered the outcome, suddenly it appears, and it's better than you imagined. It's perfect in ways you couldn't have planned. And you realize, oh, that's why it didn't happen before. I wasn't ready. The circumstances weren't right. Other pieces needed to fall into place first. This is divine timing. This is the universe orchestrating events in ways that serve the highest good of all involved. But we can't see that when we're in the middle of waiting, when we're in the middle of wanting, when we're in the middle of feeling like we're being denied something we deserve. We think the universe is withholding from us. We think we're being punished. We think something is wrong. But what if nothing is wrong? What if everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to? What if the delay is the answer? What if the waiting is the preparation? What if the not yet is actually a gift? I learned this lesson profoundly when I was trying to get my first book published. I sent it to publisher after publisher, rejection after rejection. It was heartbreaking. I thought I had something important to share. I thought my message could help people. But nobody wanted it. I could have given up. I could have decided that my dream wasn't meant to be. But something inside me said, keep going, trust. This is part of the process. So I kept writing. I kept refining. I kept showing up. And when the book finally did get published, it reached more people than I ever imagined possible. But if it had been published earlier, when I first wanted it to be, it wouldn't have had the same impact. I wasn't ready. The message wasn't fully formed. The timing wasn't right. That's how it works. That's how divine intelligence operates. It's always moving you toward your highest good, but it's also considering everyone else's highest good. It's weaving together millions of threads into a tapestry you cannot see. Your job is not to understand the whole tapestry. Your job is to be the best thread you can be, to show up in your truth, to do your part, to trust that your piece matters, and that it will be woven in at exactly the right time and place. Now, I want to talk to you about something that's crucial to this whole process of trusting. You have to learn to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of faith. Fear will tell you that you need to control everything. Fear will tell you that if you don't figure it out, it won't happen. Fear will tell you that you're alone, that you're not enough, that you're going to fail. Fear will keep you up at night worrying. Fear will make you grasp and cling and manipulate. Fear will close you down and make you small. But faith has a different voice. Faith is quiet but strong. Faith is peaceful but powerful. Faith says, I've got you. Faith says, trust the process. Faith says, you're exactly where you need to be. Faith allows you to breathe. Faith allows you to rest. Faith allows you to open up and expand. Faith allows you to be generous, loving, and present. Faith knows that everything you need will be provided. Faith knows that you are supported. Faith knows that you are loved. The challenge is learning to listen to faith instead of fear. And that takes practice. It takes commitment. It takes daily reminding yourself of the truth, because fear is loud. Fear is insistent. Fear is what we've been trained to listen to by a society that profits from our anxiety and insecurity. But faith has to be cultivated. Faith has to be nurtured. Faith has to be chosen again and again and again. So how do you do that? How do you cultivate trust when everything in your life seems to be falling apart? How do you maintain faith when you can't see any evidence that things are working out? How do you surrender when your whole being wants to fight? You start with the present moment. Right now, in this very moment, are you okay? Are you breathing? Are you safe? Do you have what you need right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, right now. When you bring your awareness to the present moment, you almost always find that you're actually okay. The suffering is usually about the past, about regret or resentment or guilt, or it's about the future, about worry or anxiety or fear. But right now, in this moment, there is usually peace available to you if you choose to access it. So you practice being present. You practice gratitude for what is. You practice noticing the small miracles that happen every single day. The sun rising, your heart beating, a smile from a stranger, an unexpected kindness, the taste of your food, the warmth of your bed, the love of a pet, the sound of laughter. These things are easy to overlook when you're caught up in your drama about what's wrong. But when you train yourself to notice what's right, what's working, what's beautiful, you shift your energy, you shift your focus. And where your focus goes, energy flows. You also practice surrender through prayer, through meditation, through conscious intention. You wake up each morning and you say, not my will, but thy will be done. You say, I release my need to control. You say, I trust that I am being guided. You say, show me the way, use me, guide me, help me to see what I cannot see on my own. Help me to trust when I want to doubt. Help me to have faith when I want to fear. And then you listen. You pay attention to the signs. You notice the synchronicities. You follow the breadcrumbs. Because God speaks to us in so many ways. Through other people, through books that fall into our hands at exactly the right time, through songs on the radio that seem to be speaking directly to us, through gut feelings and intuitions, through dreams, through nature, through the circumstances of our lives. But we miss these messages when we're too busy trying to force our own agenda. We miss the guidance when we're too loud with our own plans to hear the whisper of divine direction. Trusting God's plan also means trusting yourself. Because you are not separate from God. You are an expression of the divine. You are a unique manifestation of infinite intelligence. Everything you need is already within you. All the wisdom, all the strength, all the courage, all the love. It's there. It's always been there. But you have to get quiet enough to access it. You have to get still enough to hear it. You have to get humble enough to receive it. And here's something beautiful that happens when you truly trust. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring your success by external standards. You stop worrying about what other people think, because you know that your path is your own. You know that what's meant for you will not pass you by. You know that you don't need to compete or compare or prove anything to anyone. You're on your own unique journey, unfolding in its own perfect way and timing. This doesn't mean you don't have goals or dreams or desires. Of course you do. But you hold them lightly. You work toward them with joy rather than desperation. You remain open to them manifesting in unexpected ways. You're willing to let go of them if something better presents itself. You understand that your true desire is not for the specific thing, but for the feeling you think that thing will give you. And when you understand that, you realize that feeling is available to you right now, regardless of your circumstances, through your connection to Source, through your alignment with love, through your choice to trust. Let me tell you about detachment, because this is a concept that confuses a lot of people. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It means you care deeply, you love fully, you give your all, but you're not attached to the outcome. You do your best and then you release it. You plant the seed and then you trust it to grow. You don't dig it up every day to check on it. You don't worry it to death. You water it, you give it sunshine, and then you let nature take its course. This is how you need to approach your life. You do your part. You show up. You work hard. You stay in integrity. You love with all your heart. But then you let go. You trust. You allow. You have faith that the universe is working with you, not against you. You have faith that everything is conspiring for your benefit, even when it doesn't look that way on the surface. And when things don't work out the way you planned, instead of falling apart, you ask, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? Where is this leading me? What am I meant to learn from this? How is this serving my growth? Because everything, and I mean everything, is serving your evolution. Every experience is helping you become more of who you truly are. Every challenge is stripping away what's false so that what's real can emerge. Every loss is making space for something new. Every ending is a beginning in disguise. You know, one of the most powerful prayers you can ever pray is this: thank you. Thank you for what I have. Thank you for what's coming. Thank you for what is. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the challenges. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for loving me enough to guide me, even when I can't see where I'm going. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I give up on myself. Thank you for seeing the highest vision for my life, even when I've forgotten it. Thank you for the plan that's unfolding, even though I don't understand it. Gratitude is the ultimate expression of trust. When you're grateful for what is, you're saying, I trust that this is exactly what I need right now. When you're grateful for what's coming, you're saying, I trust that good things are on their way to me. When you're grateful for the challenges, you're saying, I trust that these difficulties are serving my highest good. Gratitude shifts you out of victimhood and into empowerment. It shifts you out of lack and into abundance. It shifts you out of fear and into love. Now, I want to address something that troubles many people. What about when you pray for something and it doesn't happen? What about when you have faith and things still go wrong? What about when you trust and you still get hurt? Does that mean God isn't listening? Does that mean your faith wasn't strong enough? Does that mean you did something wrong? No. It means that what you wanted wasn't what you needed. It means that what you thought was best for you wasn't actually in alignment with your highest path. It means that divine wisdom sees things you cannot see. It means that sometimes the answer to your prayer is no, or not yet, or I have something better in mind. And that's hard to accept. It's hard to trust when you feel like your prayers are going unanswered. But what if the answer is in the silence? What if the answer is in the waiting? What if the answer is in the redirection? I've had prayers that went unanswered, or so I thought. I've wanted things desperately that didn't come to pass. And at the time I was devastated. I felt abandoned. I felt punished. I felt like I must have done something wrong to deserve such disappointment. But years later, looking back, I can see so clearly why those things didn't happen. I can see how they would have taken me down a path that wasn't aligned with my purpose. I can see how they would have kept me small, kept me stuck, kept me from growing into the person I was meant to become. And I'm grateful now for those unanswered prayers. I'm grateful that the universe loved me enough to say no when I was asking for something that wasn't truly good for me. This is the level of trust we're talking about. This is the depth of faith we're cultivating. It's trusting not just when things go your way, but especially when they don't. It's trusting not just when you can see the path, but especially when you're walking in darkness. It's trusting not just when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. It's trusting not just when the answer is yes, but especially when the answer is no or wait. Because here's the truth, you are always being taken care of. Always. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when it looks like everything is falling apart. Even when you're in pain. Even when you're confused. Even when you're scared. You are always, always, always being guided, supported, and loved by a force that is far greater than anything you can comprehend with your rational mind. And that force, that divine intelligence, that God, it knows you better than you know yourself. It knows what will truly make you happy, not just what you think will make you happy. It knows what will serve your highest evolution, not just what will satisfy your ego. It knows the perfect timing for everything, not just when you want it to happen. It knows how all the pieces fit together, not just the one piece you're focused on. Your job is to trust that. Your job is to believe that. Your job is to live from that, knowing even when everything in your external world seems to contradict it. And that's the ultimate act of faith. That's the ultimate demonstration of trust. That's when you truly surrender to divine will. Let me tell you what happens when you make this shift, when you truly start living from a place of trust. First, you relax. The constant tension you've been carrying starts to melt away. You realize you don't have to have all the answers. You realize you don't have to figure everything out. You realize you can breathe. You can rest. You can be present. You can enjoy the moment you're in instead of constantly worrying about the next moment. Second, you become more creative. When you're not stuck in fear and control, when you're open and flowing and trusting, ideas come to you. Solutions appear. Inspiration strikes. You access parts of your mind and your being that were blocked off before. You become a channel for divine creativity to express itself through you. Third, you attract different experiences. When you're vibrating at the frequency of trust and faith, you draw in circumstances and people that match that frequency. You stop attracting drama and chaos. You stop attracting situations that require you to struggle and fight. Instead, you start attracting ease and flow. You start attracting support and synchronicity. You start attracting opportunities that feel aligned and right. Fourth, you become more loving. When you trust that you're taken care of, when you trust that there's enough, when you trust that you're safe, you can open your heart fully. You can be generous. You can be kind. You can be compassionate. You can give without expecting anything in return. You can love without holding back, because you know that giving doesn't deplete you. You know that love is infinite. You know that the more you give, the more you receive, because you're tapping into an inexhaustible source. Fifth, you experience more peace. And isn't that what we're all really looking for? Not more stuff, not more achievement, not more recognition. Peace, inner peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind of peace that remains steady even in the storm. The kind of peace that comes from knowing, truly knowing, that you're okay no matter what, that you're loved no matter what, that you're on the right path no matter what. This peace is your birthright. This trust is your natural state. This connection to the divine is not something you have to earn or achieve or prove yourself worthy of. It's already yours. It's always been yours. You just have to remember. You just have to choose it. You just have to let go of all the beliefs and fears and conditioning that have convinced you otherwise. So I want to leave you with this. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever challenges you're facing, whatever confusion you're experiencing, whatever pain you're feeling, trust. Trust that there's a reason. Trust that there's a purpose. Trust that there's a plan. Trust that you're being guided. Trust that you're being prepared for something. Trust that this too shall pass. Trust that you're stronger than you know. Trust that you're loved beyond measure. Trust that everything, absolutely everything, is working out for your highest good. And when doubt creeps in, as it will, when fear tries to take over, as it will, when your mind starts spinning with worry and anxiety. As it will, come back to this moment. Come back to your breath. Come back to the truth. Come back to trust. Remind yourself that you've made it through everything so far. Remind yourself that you're never alone. Remind yourself that there's a divine intelligence orchestrating your life with more love and wisdom than you can fathom. Let go of the need to understand. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the need to know how and when and why. Just trust. Just have faith. Just surrender. And watch what happens. Watch how your life transforms. Watch how obstacles become opportunities. Watch how struggles become strengths. Watch how pain becomes wisdom. Watch how darkness becomes light. This is the way. This is the path. This is the truth that will set you free. Trust God. Trust the universe. Trust life. Trust love. Even when you don't understand. Especially when you don't understand. Because that's when trust means the most. That's when faith has the most power. That's when surrender brings the greatest transformation. You are loved. You are guided. You are protected. You are supported. You are exactly where you need to be. Everything is unfolding perfectly. And the best is yet to come. Trust that. Believe that. Live from that. And watch your life become a beautiful testament to the power of faith, the miracle of trust, and the infinite wisdom of divine love.